This street, right in the heart of London, looks pretty ordinary, doesn't it? Thousands of people walk this way every single day, completely unaware that just a few feet beneath them flows the ghost of London's largest lost river. This is the River Fleet. And today, we're going to find it. We're going to trace it from its beautiful, open source all the way to its dark, hidden end. We'll uncover how a river that was once the lifeblood of Roman London became a stinking sewer so vile that it had to be buried and forgotten. Our journey starts here, on the rolling green hills of Hampstead Heath. It feels like a world away from the noise and grit of central London, but this is where the Fleet story begins. The river doesn't have just one origin, but two, bubbling up from springs on Hampstead Heath. These springs now feed a series of gorgeous man-made reservoirs created in the 1700s, the Highgate Ponds on the east and the Hampstead Ponds on the west. What's incredible is that right here, at its very source, you can still connect with the Fleet in its purest form. These ponds are some of London's most beloved wild swimming spots, a living link to a river that has otherwise completely vanished. The water is clean, fresh, and open to the sky. It's a peaceful beginning for a river whose story is about to get very dark, polluted, and diseased. The moment we leave the Heath, the water vanishes underground, starting its 4-mile journey to the Thames in darkness. But it leaves clues if you know where to look. We're walking down Fleet Road, a name that's a direct echo of the water flowing just beneath our feet. This upper part of the river was one of the last sections to be covered up, finally disappearing in the 1870s as London's relentless expansion swallowed it whole. So how did this idyllic stream become a buried sore? For that, we need to rewind the clock, the lot. Back in Roman times, this was no hidden creek, it was a major river. Its name, Fleet, comes from the Anglo-Saxon word fleart, meaning a tidal inlet, basically, a waterway big enough to float a boat. And the Romans knew its value. The wide, tidal estuary created a natural defensive barrier for the western side of their new city, Londinium. It was a bustling artery for trade. Ships sailed up from the Thames, unloading cargo. The Romans even built the first bridge over it, creating a crossing that would one day become the famous Fleet Street. It's hard to picture now, standing on these busy city streets, but this was once London's vital western waterfront. For centuries, the Fleet wasn't a problem to be buried, it was an asset to be used. As we follow the river's course south through what's now Camden and Kentish Town, the story darkens. By the medieval period, London was bursting at the seams. The Fleet, once a source of drinking water and fish, was changing. The city's growing industries crammed its banks, tanneries, breweries, and mills all used the river's water, and then used it as a drain for their waste. The biggest offender was the nearby Smithfield meat market. Butchers would just toss animal carcasses and guts straight into the current. The river became a disgusting cocktail of industrial runoff, human sewage, and rotting animal parts. It was, for all intents and purposes, London's main open sewer. The stench became legendary. As early as the 1200s, the monks of Whitefriars Priory complained to the king about the putrid exhalations from the Fleet, which were so bad they overpowered the smell of incense during Mass. It's even speculated that the name Kentish Town comes from Kenditch, a nod to the foul state of the ditch or channel in this area, though to ken might also just mean river or green. The transformation was underway. The once mighty river was becoming a public health disaster, a festering wound in the city's heart. After the Great Fire of London in 1666, the city was a blank canvas. The celebrated architect Sir Christopher Wren had a grand vision to remake the Fleet's lower section into a majestic new canal, an elegant waterway inspired by the Grand Canals of Venice, complete with decorative bridges. For a moment, it seemed the Fleet might be reborn. But Wren's proposal was ultimately rejected. A less ambitious canal was later built by Robert Hooke, but it was a catastrophic failure. No amount of fancy stonework could handle the sheer volume of filth pouring into it. The canal quickly became just as choked and stagnant as the old river. It was so foul that in 1710, the writer Jonathan Swift described a storm washing the city's garbage into it, writing of sweepings from butchers' stalls, dung, guts and blood, drowned puppies, stinking sprats, all drenched in mud, dead cats and turnip tops come tumbling down the flood. The image is revolting, but it was the grim reality. The river was notorious for being filled with dead dogs. The Venetian dream had become a stinking, stagnant ditch, and London was running out of ideas. The 18th and 19th centuries saw the final, tragic act, the river's burial. London's population was exploding, and the demand for space and sanitation was overwhelming. Starting in the 1730s, the city began covering the river, section by section. The part of the failed canal between Holborn and Ludgate Circus was arched over in 1737 to create the Fleet Market, and the lowest section down to the Thames was covered by the 1760s. But it was the Victorians who finished the job. Massive infrastructure projects like the Regent's Canal, which was fully opened by 1820, and the Metropolitan Railway in the 1860s sealed the fate of the river's upper sections. Then came the summer of 1858, a period now known as the Great Stink. A heatwave baked the sewage in the Thames, creating a stench so overpowering it brought the city, and the government in the Houses of Parliament, to a complete standstill. This crisis finally spurred one of the greatest engineering feats of the 19th century. An engineer named Joseph Bazalgette was tasked with creating a modern sewer system for London. His revolutionary design used huge interceptor sewers to carry waste away from the city. As part of this monumental project, the last open sections of the Fleet were finally enclosed, its natural flow co-opted into Bazalgette's new subterranean world of brick tunnels. By the 1870s, London's largest river had been completely entombed, hidden from sight and transformed from a waterway into a storm drain. So, the Fleet is gone, but it's not entirely lost. If you know where to look, and more importantly, where to listen, you can still find it. The city's landscape holds the memory of its path. The gentle curve of St. Pancras Way follows the old river bank. The massive Holborn Viaduct, opened in 1869, was built specifically to span the steep-sided valley the Fleet had carved over thousands of years. But the most exciting clues are the ones you can hear. There are a few special spots in London where you can still hear the river rumbling right beneath your feet. Here, on Ray Street in Clerkenwell, right outside the Coach pub, is a simple iron grate in the road. Get close, listen carefully, especially after it's been raining, and you can hear the unmistakable sound of rushing water. This is it. This is the ghost of the River Fleet, flowing just feet below us. You can hear it again just around the corner, through a grid in the middle of Charterhouse Street. Even further north, another drain cover outside the Prince Albert pub in Camden offers a direct line to the buried river. These grates are like little portals, not to a pristine river, but to a Victorian sewer, a brick-lined tunnel carrying the same water that first saw the light of day up on Hampstead Heath. They are real, audible links to a lost world, hiding in plain sight. Our journey, which began in the fresh, open air of Hampstead Heath, ends here, in the shadows of Blackfriars Bridge. This is where the Fleet, after its long, 4-mile journey through the city's underbelly, finally empties into the Thames. There's no grand monument marking the spot. All you can see is a dark, unassuming outlet in the embankment wall, easily missed by the thousands of people who cross this bridge every day. After heavy rain, you might see a surge of murky water gushing out, the final, visible proof of the powerful force still flowing through Bazalgette's tunnels. This small, dark hole is the mouth of what was once London's largest lost river. It's a stark and powerful end to an epic story. A story of transformation, of a river that gave life to Roman London, became a byword for medieval filth, defied the grand vision of our greatest architects, and was finally erased from the map by the Victorians. From a swimmable pond to a stinking sewer, the story of the Fleet is the story of London itself. It shows how a city grows, how it struggles with its own success, and how it deals with its problems by literally burying them. The river might be gone from our maps, but its valley still shapes our streets, its name still echoes in our addresses, and its ghost still flows right under our feet. It's a powerful reminder that in a city as ancient as London, history is never truly lost. It's just waiting to be rediscovered. What hidden secrets of London do you know about? Are there other lost rivers or forgotten places you've found? Share your own stories in the comments below, I'd love to read them. And if you enjoyed this trip into the city's hidden past, please subscribe for more adventures.